You know, my grandmother would discipline me, beat my ass. I deserved them too. She used to beat my ass. Remember them switches you used to have to go get yourself to beat your own ass with? And they had them leaves on you, had to go. I see them trees today, I stop the car and get out the car to kill that motherfucker. Right, I see what I say, you won't grow up, you motherfucker. Right, because that was some hell of a psychology, right? To make you go get a switch to beat your own ass with. Right, my grandma said, boy, go get me something to beat your ass with. And that would be the longest walk in the world. That would be the And you knew you couldn't come back with no little one either. Because if you come back with a little one, she going out there and get the tree and beat your ass with it. Right, you be going in the house, that vine makes such a weird sound and you be doing, it make you start crying before you get in the house, right? Mama, I'm good, Mama, please, Mama, I want good. And like I said, my mama would beat my ass with anything, right? Like, she'd take them old douchebag pipes. You remember them old long red cars? On them big fat douchebags. You remember my grandmother used to call them a hot water bottle.
Stu?
Yes, sir.
What do we got for dinner?
Anything you like, sir. You might have some tomato juice, orange juice, grape juice, pineapple juice.
Hey, turn off the juice before I get electrocuted. All right, let me have one of each. And 2 fried eggs, 2 poached eggs, 2 scrambled eggs, and 2 medium-boiled eggs.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs. Make that 3 hard-boiled eggs. And some roast beef, rare, medium, well done, and overdone.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs. Make that 3 hard-boiled eggs. And 8 pieces of French pastry.
This 2 hard-boiled eggs.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs. Make that 3 hard-boiled eggs. And 1 duck egg. Have you got any stewed prunes?
Yes, sir.
Well, give them some black coffee. That'll sober them up.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs.
And 2 hard-boiled eggs. It's either foggy out or make that 12 more hard-boiled eggs. And Stewart, rush that along because the faster it comes, the faster this convention will be over.
Yes, sir.
Do they allow tipping on the boat?
Oh, yes, sir.
Have you got 2 5s?
Yes, sir.
Well, then you won't need the 10 cents I was going to give you.
They are universally known by their stage names Groucho, Chico, Harpo, Gummo, and Zeppo. They are collectively known as the Marx Brothers. There was a sixth child, the firstborn. Actually, his name was Manfred. They called him Manny, but he died at 7 months old. They were a showbiz family, vaudeville to begin with, and the core of the act centered around the 3 elder brothers, Groucho, Chico, and Harpo. The Marx Brothers were born in New York City from Jewish immigrants. Their mother, Minnie, who eventually down the line became their manager, was the one that really came from show business people, on her mother's side. Her mother was a yodeling harpist, and her father was a ventriloquist in the old country. The Marx Brothers' father, he was a tailor. This is how their nicknames and their real names break down in the order of their births. Chico, the oldest, is really named Leonard Joseph. Harpo is named Adolf, but after the war began, he changed it to Arthur. Groucho, the next born, is Julius Henry. Gummo is Milton, and Zeppo, the last born, was Herbert Manfred. Now, Gummo was never in a film. He was just part of the stage show, and Zeppo was only in the first 5 films and played pretty much straight non-comedic roles. The Marx Brothers actually had a sister as well, actually a cousin, adopted by their parents. Her name was Pauline, and they called her Polly. All of the brothers' stage nicknames, except for Zeppo's, were coined by a family friend, a monologist Art Fisher, while he dealt cards to the boys in a poker game. Harpo, because he played the harp. Chico, because he was always chasing the chickens, or the chicks. Gummo, because he always had rubber-soled shoes in whatever kind of weather, because he was afraid of getting sick. Now, Groucho's nickname, the origin of that, is by far the most disputed. Some say it was simply because he was grouchy. Steve Allen said in Funny People that the name made no sense. Groucho might have been sarcastic or short with some people, but not grouchy, at least not around Allen. Although, different explanations have come out over time. The grouch bag is one of them. George Fenneman, Groucho's sidekick on his TV game show You Bet Your Life, said that a grouch bag was a small drawstring bag worn around the neck in which a traveler could keep money and other valuables, so that it would be very difficult for anyone to steal them. Most of Groucho's friends and associates stated that Groucho was extremely stingy, especially after losing all of his money in the 1929 stock market crash. So naming him for the grouch bag may have been a comment on this trait. Groucho insisted that it was not the case. In Chapter 6 of his first biography, he said, "I kept my money in a grouch bag. This was a small bag that actors used to wear around their necks and to keep other hungry actors from pinching their dough. Naturally, you're going to think that's where I got my name from, but that's not so. Grouch bags were worn by many people before there was ever a Groucho." Groucho's explanation is himself insists that he was named for a character in a comic strip, Nako the Monk, which inspired the craze for nicknames ending in O. In fact, there was a character in that strip named Groucho. However, he is the only Marx or Marx associate who presents this theory. And as he is not an unbiased witness, few biographers take this claim very seriously. However, at the very end of his life, Groucho finally admitted that Fisher had named him Groucho because he was the moody one. Okay, enough about their names. The real reason to talk about the Marx Brothers is to talk about the impact and major imprint that they left on comedy. And it wasn't because of their vaudeville stage show, and it wasn't because of their nicknames. It was because of their movies. Their movies are truly the first thing that you see in this History of Comedy series that represents what a modern comedy film might look like or might be. Laurel and Hardy were the king of the shorts, and so were the Three Stooges, Little Rascals, and so on. But those were all shorts. Each one of those groups, with the exception of Laurel and Hardy's first full feature films, all tried to do full feature long films and weren't very successful. Above all of the people that were early comedy kings and did very well either on radio, vaudeville, or Broadway, mainly stuck to short films. There weren't many comedy groups that graduated into full-featured films the way the Marx Brothers did. A handful of Marx Brothers films could be called the best comedy films of all time, starting with The Coconuts in 1929, which is the first Marx Brothers film I ever saw as a child, Animal Crackers, 1930, Monkey Business in 31, Horse Feathers, 32, Duck Soup in 33, all of which were released by Paramount Pictures. Then, when they switched over to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, they gave us A Night at the Opera, 1935, A Day at the Races, 1937, Room Service, 1938, which was the second Marx Brothers film I ever saw as a child, and widely considered amongst many critics and fans to be the last great Marx Brothers movie. Because after that we have At the Circus, 39, Go West, 1940, The Big Store, 1941, and A Night in Casablanca, 46, which is considered to be their worst. Here's one of my favorite scenes. It's from Night at the Opera. It's a very good example of how long and how far the Marx Brothers will go for a simple gag.
Now, here are the contracts. You just put his name at the top and you sign at the bottom. There's no need of you reading that because these are duplicates.
Yeah, it's a duplicate. Duplicates, sir.
I say they're duplicates.
Oh, sure, it's a duplicate, sir.
Don't you know what duplicates are?
Sure, there's 5 kids up in Canada.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. I haven't been in Canada in years. Well, go ahead and read it.
What does it say?
Well, go on and read it.
All right, you read it. Go on.
All right, I'll read it to you. Can you hear?
I haven't heard anything yet. Did you say anything?
Well, I haven't said anything worth hearing.
Well, that's why I didn't hear anything.
Well, that's why I didn't say anything.
Can you read?
I can read, but I can't see it. Don't seem to have it in focus here. If my arms were a little longer, I could read it. You haven't got a baboon in your pocket, have you? Here we are. Now I've got it. Now pay particular attention to this first clause because it's most important. It says the party of the first part should be known in this contract as the party of the first part. How do you like that? That's pretty neat, eh?
No, it's no good.
What's the matter with it?
I don't know. Let's hear it again.
It says the party of the first part should be known in this contract as the party of the first part.
Well, it sounds a little better this time.
Well, it grows on you. Would you like to hear it once more?
Just the first part.
What do you mean, the party of the first part?
No, the first part of the party or the first part.
All right, it says the first part of the party of the first part should be known in this contract as the first part of the party of the first part should be known in this contract. Look, why should we quarrel about a thing like this? We'll take it right out, huh?
Yeah, it's too long anyhow. Now what do we got left?
Well, I got about 1.5 feet. Now, it says the party of the second part should be known in this contract as the party of the second part.
Well, I don't know about that.
Now, what's the matter?
I don't like the second party either.
Well, you should have come to the first party. We didn't get home till around 4 in the morning. I was blind for 3 days.
Hey, look. Why can't the first part of the second party be the second part of the first party? Then you got something.
Well, look, rather than go through all that again, what do you say?
Fine.
Now I've got something here you're bound to like. You be crazy about it.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like what?
Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Well, don't let's break up an old friendship over a thing like that. Ready?
Okay. Now, the next part I don't think you're going to like.
Well, your word's good enough for me. Now then, is my word good enough for you?
I should say not.
Well, that takes out 2 more clauses. Now, the party of the 8th part...
No, that's no good, no.
The party of the 9th...
No, that's no good, too. Hey, how is it my contract is skinnier than yours?
Well, I don't know. You must have been out on the tail last night. But anyhow, we're all set now, aren't we?
Oh, sure.
Now, just you put your name right down there, and then the deal is legal.
Hey, I forgot to tell you, I can't write.
No, that's all right. There's no ink in the pen anyhow. But listen, it's a contract, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
We've got a contract,
You
no matter
bet.
how small it is.
Hey, wait. What does this say here, this thing here?
Oh, that's the usual clause. That's in every contract. That just says, if any of the parties participating in this contract are shown not to be in their right mind, the entire agreement is automatically nullified.
Well, I don't know.
It's all right. That's in every contract. That's what they call a sanity clause.
You can't fool me. There ain't no sanity clause.
Now, that scene is famously called the Sanity Clause. So they went quite a long way just to get to that punchline. And the beauty of the Marx Brothers is that they hit several funny punchlines on the way to their destination every time. Now, even while playing that clip for you in this episode that I've seen several hundred times, I found myself laughing. I mean, genuinely cracking up here by myself at 2 in the morning in the studio, because you see, the Marx Brothers are funny, and not just in a classic fall down, throw a pie in somebody's face, old school way. They were witty, and they had the kind of timing that you could only have if you were related to the other comedian or had spent your entire life honing your craft and working a scene to perfection on stage, live, before it ever reached a film. The physicality of Harpo, the fact that he never spoke, and the verbal banter between Chico and Groucho is purely Marx Brothers and is absolutely brilliant. It can't be done by any other group of people. They were a more modern kind of funny, witty dialogue, wordplay, silly stuff in front of authority figures. Groucho especially is the original Chevy Chase or Eric Idle when it comes to conversational, silly wordplay. The Coconuts, Animal Crackers, Monkey Business, Horse Feathers, and Duck Soup, including the MGM releases of A Day at the Races, A Night at the Opera, and Room Service, are definitely the core great films of the Marx Brothers. The last few movies, At the Circus, Go West, The Big Store, were attempts to try to recapture the magic from earlier years, and A Night in Casablanca and Love Happy, 46 and 49, were to alleviate Chico's severe gambling debts. Both pictures were released by United Artists. After that, the only time you ever saw the Marx Brothers was in TV specials. And then, of course, Groucho had another entire career, sort of a second life on television, when he was the star and host of You Bet Your Life, which ran from 1947 to 1961 on NBC radio and television. That run alone would have been enough for anybody to have a great career. The Marx Brothers are probably, next to Laurel and Hardy, the greatest comedy artists ever. And their influence and impact on modern comedians well into the 21st century can be seen in everybody from Woody Allen to Judd Apatow's films, Mel Brooks movies, John Cleese, Monty Python in general, the Zucker Brothers, Carl Reiner, the Beatles, Alice Cooper, the Monkees, Peter Sellers, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Rob Zombie, Betty Boop, Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, I Love Lucy, MASH, The Muppet Show, All in the Family, Welcome Back Kotter, Mary Tyler Moore, Queen, had an album called A Night at the Opera, and they followed it up with another album called A Day at the Races, and many, many others. I'd like to end this chapter with a scene. This scene is my favorite Marx Brothers scene in all of their filmology. It's basically a visual gag that couldn't be pulled off by anyone but the Marx Brothers. The movie was the first of their films to not be based on a stage show, and I can see why, because this scene would have never worked on the stage. It's definitely a movie scene, it's definitely Marx Brothers, and it's definitely the best.
Well, that's fine. If that steward is deaf and dumb, he'll never know you're in here.
Oh, sure, that's all right.
Yes?
We've come to make up your room.
Are those my hard-boiled eggs?
I can't tell until they get in the room. Come on in, girls, and leave all hope behind. But you've got to work fast because you've got to get out in 10 minutes.
Hey, Tomato, wake up, and they're going to fix the bed.
Say, I'd like 2 pillows on that bed there, eh?
All right, bring them.
Say, there's a slight misunderstanding here. I said the girls had to work fast, not your friend.
He's still asleep.
You know, he does better asleep than I do awake.
Hey, he always sleeps that way. Now he's half asleep.
Yes, he's half asleep and half Nelson.
All right, come on.
Yes? I'm the engineer.
Come on.
Came to turn off the
Wake
heat.
up.
Well, you can start right in on him.
Wake up, Tomaso. Tomaso, we're going to eat soon.
You know, if it wasn't for Gottlieb, I wouldn't have got this room. Just hold him there a second. Yes?
Did you want a manicure?
No, come on in. I hadn't planned on a manicure, but I think on a journey like this, you ought to have every convenience you can get. Hey, listen, I'm getting the manicure. Get out of here, will you?
Did you want your nails long or short?
You better make them short. It's getting kind of crowded in here. I don't know. This isn't the way I pictured an ocean voyage. I always visualized myself sitting in a steamer chair with a steward bringing me bouillon.
Come on, Ricardo.
You couldn't get any bouillon in here unless they brought it in through a keyhole.
I'm the engineer's assistant.
You know, I had a premonition you were going to show up. The engineer's right over there in the corner. You can chop your way right through. Say, is it my imagination or is it getting crowded in here?
I got plenty of room.
Yes?
Is my Aunt Minnie in here?
Well, you can come in and prowl around if you want to. If she isn't in here, you can probably find somebody just as good.
Well, could I use your phone?
Use the phone. I'll lay even money you can't get in the room.
How do you do?
This boat will be in New York before you can get to that phone.
I came to mop up.
Just the woman I'm looking for. Come right ahead. You'll have to start on the ceiling. It's the only place that isn't being occupied.
You can clean my shoes if you want.
Tell Aunt Minnie to send up a bigger room, too, will you?
Stewart?
Ah, come right ahead.
Hey,
Do it.
Tomaso, the food.
Been waiting all afternoon for you,
Comes to the
Stewart.
food. Come on.